All right, buckle up for this one, folks. We're going deep into a declassified CIA document from 1993.
Okay.
And it's all about this thing called the gateway experience. Apparently, it's a technique that could allow you to, have out-of-body experiences, access information from other dimensions, and even manipulate your own energy field.
Wow.
So, are you familiar with this at all?
I am, yeah. The document itself is called Analysis and Assessment of Gateway Process, and it was developed by the Monroe Institute. It's a fascinating look into how the CIA was exploring the edges of human consciousness and the nature of reality itself.
It's pretty wild stuff. So how does this gateway experience actually work? Is it like hypnosis or meditation?
Well, it shares some similarities with those,
Yeah.
but the document highlights a key difference, the focus on synchronizing the left and right hemispheres of the brain.
Right. So you know how the left brain is typically associated with logic and language?
Yes, while the right brain is more intuitive and creative.
Yeah, it's like the left brain's the accountant,
Okay.
and the right brain's the artist.
Exactly. And the gateway experience aims to quiet down the left brain.
That inner accountant.
Yeah, that inner accountant.
Yeah.
And activate the right brain's artistic potential. It's about shifting from a purely analytical mode to a more receptive and intuitive state.
Okay, I can see how that might open up some interesting possibilities, but how do they actually do that?
Well, sound plays a central role. The document details the use of hemisync audio tapes, which use specific frequencies to entrain brain waves and guide the brain into a synchronized state.
So it's like using sound to gently nudge the brain into a different rhythm.
Precisely.
Yeah.
But it's not just the sound you hear, though.
What else is there?
The document emphasizes the importance of the body's response to these sound vibrations. Specifically, they focus on frequencies around 7 hertz, which they believe create a resonant effect throughout the body, further influencing brainwave patterns.
7 hertz. That sounds pretty specific.
Yeah.
Why that frequency out?
Well, the document suggests that 7 hertz is particularly effective at inducing a state of resonance in the body. It's almost like tuning an instrument, creating a cascade of vibrations
Yeah.
that ultimately influence brain activity.
Interesting. And they compare this to Kundalini yoga, right?
Yes, they draw a parallel to Kundalini yoga,
Yeah.
an ancient practice that aims to awaken a powerful energy force within the body through focused intention and specific breathing techniques.
So they're suggesting that the gateway experience achieves a similar effect, but through sound and vibration, rather than traditional yogic practices.
That's the idea. They see it as a more modern and accessible approach to achieving these altered states of consciousness.
Okay, so they're messing with brain waves and using sound vibrations to induce altered states. But where does the energy field stuff come in?
Well, this is where it gets really interesting. The document describes how the gateway experience is believed to amplify and manipulate the human energy field, allowing it to interact with the surrounding environment in new ways.
Wait, so they're saying that by syncing our brain waves, we can actually boost our own energy field.
That's what they propose. And they even go a step further, suggesting that this amplified energy field can interact with external energy sources, potentially drawing energy and information from the surrounding environment, maybe even from other dimensions. They call this energy entrainment.
Okay, now my head is starting to spin a little. Are they suggesting we could tap into some kind of universal energy source?
It seems so. The document explores the idea that there's a vast interconnected energy field permeating the universe, and that the gateway experience could allow us to access and utilize this energy in ways we're just beginning to understand.
So it's like we're not just isolated individuals, but nodes in a vast energy network.
That's one way to look at it. And the document suggests that the gateway experience could help us tap into this network and harness its potential.
Okay, I need a moment to process this. It's like they're describing a whole new level of reality, an energetic dimension that we're usually oblivious to.
Exactly. And the document even suggests that our everyday reality, the one we perceive with our 5 senses, is actually a kind of holographic projection.
Hold on, a holographic projection? Like what we see and touch isn't actually real.
Well, that's what this theory proposes.
Yeah.
It suggests that what we experience as physical reality is actually a 3-dimensional image encoded on a 2-dimensional surface, like a hologram. And the gateway experience might allow us to access the underlying code, the blueprint of reality itself.
Whoa, that's some Matrix level stuff right there. So they're saying that by accessing these altered states, we could actually see beyond the illusion of physical reality And perceive the source code of the universe?
That's what they're suggesting. It's a pretty mind-blowing concept.
Yeah.
But the document draws parallels to the work of physicists like Carl Pergram and David Bohm, who also proposed theories about the universe as a kind of giant hologram.
So the CIA was looking at connections between this gateway experience and legitimate scientific theories.
It seems so. They were definitely exploring the edges of scientific understanding, trying to make sense of these extraordinary claims about consciousness and the nature of reality.
Okay, my brain officially needs a reboot after that one. We're talking about altering brain waves, tapping into energy fields, and perceiving the universe as a hologram. What else is in store for us in this deep dive?
Well, the document also delves into the potential of the gateway experience to alter our perception of time and space.
Okay.
It suggests that our linear understanding of time might be a construct of our limited consciousness.
Yeah.
And that the gateway experience could allow us to experience time in a non-linear way, potentially even accessing information from the past or future.
Wait, are we talking time travel here?
Not in the traditional sense of physically traveling through time. The document suggests that it's more about expanding our consciousness to perceive time in a different way, maybe even accessing information for different points in time.
Okay, so more like time awareness than time travel. But still, that's pretty wild. And what about this concept of the absolute? I remember reading something about that.
The absolute is described as a state of pure consciousness that exists outside of time and space, the ultimate source of all creation. The document suggests that the gateway experience could facilitate a merging with the absolute, a kind of ultimate union with the source of all existence.
So it's like a mystical experience.
Yeah.
A merging with the divine. And they're saying this is achievable through the gateway experience.
That's what the document proposes. It's a pretty profound concept, suggesting that we have the potential to transcend our limited sense of self and experience a state of oneness with the universe.
All right, I'm definitely going to need some time to digest all of this. It's like they're describing a whole new reality, a reality where we can tap into hidden potential, manipulate energy fields, and maybe even experience a sense of oneness with the universe.
It is a lot to take in, and we've only just scratched the surface of what this document explores. We haven't even touched on the potential applications of the gateway experience, the step-by-step process of the training program, or the fascinating topic of out-of-body experiences.
Okay, well, I'm both excited and a little terrified to see where this deep dive takes us next. But before we go any further, I want to remind our listeners that this document, while fascinating, presents claims that are not widely accepted by mainstream science.
Right.
It's important to approach this information with a critical and discerning mind.
Absolutely. We're presenting this information as a way to explore these unconventional ideas, not as an endorsement of their validity. It's up to each of you to decide what you make of this information.
So keep an open mind, but don't check your critical thinking skills at the door. We'll be back soon to delve deeper into the world of the gateway experience.
Picking up where we left off,
okay.
You might be wondering how someone would even begin to experience this gateway process.
Yeah, like how do you get started?
Well, the CIA document actually lays out a training program. And it starts with something you might already be familiar with.
Really? What's that?
Deep relaxation. The document emphasizes achieving a calm state of mind and body, like laying the groundwork for the experience.
Okay, so like meditation.
Exactly. They recommend techniques like progressive muscle relaxation, deep breathing, even guided visualizations, all things you might find in a mindfulness app.
That's interesting. So they're taking these familiar techniques and applying them to this, let's call it unconventional exploration.
Precisely. And once you achieve that relaxed state, that's where the hemisync audio tapes come in.
Right.
Remember, those specific frequencies designed to sync the brain hemisphere.
Yeah, the brainwave entrainment stuff. So they're not just listening to relaxing music.
Not exactly. The document goes into detail about how different brainwave frequencies are associated with different states of consciousness. Like beta waves are your normal waking state. Alpha waves are more relaxed and meditative. They're guiding you through these different states using the tapes.
Okay, so it's like a more deliberate manipulation of brain activity?
Yes.
And what about that 7 hertz frequency we talked about?
Yeah.
The one that supposedly creates vibrations throughout the body.
That's a key part of the process, too. The document suggests that 7 hertz is a resonant frequency for the human body, meaning it can induce a kind of vibratory state that enhances the effects of the hemisync tapes. It's like adding another layer to the experience, engaging the body as well as the mind.
So it's a full body experience, not just a mental exercise. And this brings us back to the energy field stuff, right?
Absolutely. Remember how we talked about the human energy field being amplified and manipulated through the gateway techniques?
Yeah, the idea that we can boost our own energy and potentially tap into a universal energy source.
Exactly. And the document goes even deeper, suggesting that as we progress through the gateway training, we can learn to interact with external energy fields in more profound ways. They describe it as a kind of energy entrainment, where your personal energy field syncs up with external sources, potentially drawing in energy and information from the surrounding environment.
So it's like becoming more attuned to the energetic world around us.
That's a great way to put it. It's like our senses are expanding beyond the physical realm and into the energetic realm, allowing us to perceive and interact with subtle energies that we normally wouldn't be aware of.
Okay, so we're manipulating brainwaves, tapping into energy fields, but how does this holographic universe idea fit into all of this?
Well, the document suggests that the holographic universe model isn't just a theory. It's a key to understanding how the gateway experience works. They believe that by accessing altered states of consciousness, we can actually start to perceive the holographic nature of reality.
It's like we're peeling back the layers of perception, going beyond the illusion of physical reality to glimpse the underlying code.
That's a great analogy. They believe that. The gateway experience allows us to bypass the filters, our normal waking consciousness, and access a deeper level of reality, the source code of the holographic projection.
Whoa. So what would that even look like? What kind of experiences would someone have if they are actually perceiving the holographic nature of reality?
Well, the document describes a variety of potential experiences, including profound insights and revelations, a sense of interconnectedness with all things, even the ability to manipulate energy and matter in ways that would normally seem impossible. They suggest that by tapping into this deeper level of reality, we could potentially unlock abilities that are currently beyond our comprehension.
Okay, now this is where I really start to question things. Are they suggesting we could bend spoons with our minds or something?
Well, the document does describe some pretty extraordinary possibilities, but they're careful to emphasize that these are just potential applications, not guaranteed outcomes. It's more about expanding our understanding of what's possible, challenging our assumptions about the limits of human consciousness.
So they're not making any promises, but they're suggesting that the potential is there.
Yes.
And this brings us to the topic of out-of-body experiences, which seems to be a big part of the gateway experience. What exactly are they claiming about OBEs?
They describe OBEs as a natural consequence of expanding consciousness beyond the limitations of the physical body.
Okay.
They suggest that as your awareness shifts from the physical to the energetic level, it becomes possible to detach from the physical form and explore other realms of existence.
Okay, so you're not actually physically leaving your body. It's more like your consciousness is expanding beyond its usual boundaries.
Exactly. They describe it as a kind of energetic separation where your awareness can move independently of your physical body, exploring other dimensions or time periods.
So it's like astral projection.
That's one way to think about it. They believe that. OBEs allow you to directly experience other realms of existence, realms that are normally hidden from our everyday perception.
Okay, I'm trying to keep it up in mind here, but this is all starting to sound pretty far out there.
It is a lot to take in, but remember, this is a CIA document, and they were exploring these concepts from a perspective of potential applications.
Right, so they're not just interested in the philosophical implications, they're looking at the practical side of things.
Exactly, and that's where this concept of first-hand collection potential comes in.
Oh, yeah. Remind me what that is again?
It's essentially using OBEs to gather information from other dimensions or time periods.
Okay.
They're suggesting that by sending your consciousness out on these out-of-body journeys, you could potentially gather intel that would be impossible to obtain through normal means.
So it's like a psychic spying, sending your mind out to it, scout out the enemy.
That's one way to think about it. They saw it as a potential tool for intelligence gathering, but also for scientific research and exploration. They believe that OBEs could provide valuable insights into the nature of reality and the workings of the universe.
Okay, I'm trying to wrap my head around this. They're claiming that we can manipulate brainwaves, tap into universal energy, perceive reality as a hologram, and even send our consciousness out on reconnaissance missions
Yeah.
to other dimensions. It's a lot to process.
It definitely pushes the boundaries
Yeah.
of conventional thinking.
Yeah.
And that's what makes this document so fascinating.
Mm-hmm.
It challenges us to consider possibilities that we might have previously dismissed as impossible.
It certainly makes you wonder what else might be out there, just beyond the reach
Yeah.
of our normal perception. But before we get carried away with all the exciting possibilities, let's take a step back and talk about the actual training program. How does someone actually learn to do this gateway stuff? Is it something you can just pick up from a book, or does it require years of dedicated practice?
The document describes a structured approach to the gateway training, starting with those basic relaxation techniques we talked about earlier. It's a gradual process of expanding consciousness, learning to control your energy field, and ultimately achieving those higher states of awareness that allow for things like out-of-body experiences and interacting with the holographic nature of reality.
So it's not a quick fix. It's a journey of self-discovery and exploration.
Exactly. They emphasize that it requires dedication, discipline, and a willingness to push beyond your comfort zone. It's not for the faint of heart, but for those who are willing to put in the effort.
Yeah.
The rewards could be extraordinary.
Okay, so let's delve into the details of this training program. What are some of the key stages or milestones that someone would go through as they progress through the gateway experience?
Well, they describe a series of focus levels, each representing a different state of consciousness that the practitioner aims to achieve.
Okay.
It starts with focus 3, which is characterized by predominance of alpha brainwave activity, associated with a state of relaxed alertness and heightened creativity. It's the state where the mind is calm and focused, but still receptive to new information and insights.
So it's like priming the mind for deeper exploration, getting the left brain to chill out so the right brain can take the wheel.
That's a good way to put it. And from there, they progress to focus 10, which is where things start to get really interesting.
Focus 10. That's the one where you perceive your physical body as just a point of consciousness, right? Kind of like a pre-out-of-body experience.
Exactly. It's a state of deep detachment from the physical form, where consciousness expands beyond the limitations of the body, begins to explore other realms of existence. They describe it as a transitional state, a stepping stone to even more profound experiences.
And I'm guessing the ultimate goal is to reach Focus 12, a state of complete unity with the universe.
You got it. Focus 12 is the holy grail of the gateway experience. It's described as a state of pure awareness beyond time and space, where the individual consciousness merges, the absolute, the source of all creation.
Wow, that's a pretty ambitious goal. And they claim that this is achievable through their training program.
That's what they propose.
Yeah.
But they emphasize that it takes time, effort, and a deep commitment to the process. It's not something you can just achieve overnight.
So it's a journey of self-discovery and transformation, not a quick fix. And what about the out-of-body experiences? How do they train people to achieve those?
They describe a specific technique called Focus 15, which is designed to facilitate OBEs.
Okay.
It involves a combination of hemisync audio, guided visualization, and focused intention. The idea is to create an energetic separation between the physical body and what they call the subtle body, which is like an energetic blueprint of the physical form.
So you're creating a duplicate of your energy field and then using that duplicate to explore other realms.
That's a good way to think about it. And they emphasize that achieving a successful OBE requires a high level of mental discipline and focus. It's not something that just happens automatically.
And are there any risks or dangers associated with having an OBE? I mean, it sounds scary. Essentially detaching a part of your consciousness from your physical body.
The document does acknowledge potential risks, but they emphasize that with proper training and guidance. OBEs can be a safe and transformative experience.
Why do you suggest that?
OBEs can be used for beneficial purposes, like healing, problem solving, and gathering information from other realms.
Okay, that's where I start to get a little skeptical again. They're talking about using OBEs for practical purposes. Like, what kind of information could you possibly gather from an out-of-body experience that would be useful in the real world?
Well, they mention a variety of possibilities. Including gaining insights into scientific mysteries, accessing historical records, even exploring the potential of other dimensions. They suggest that the out-of-body state could provide a unique perspective on reality allowing us to perceive things
Yeah,
that are
sure.
normally hidden from our physical senses.
Okay, I'm trying to wrap my head around this. They're claiming that we can manipulate brainwaves, tap into universal energy, perceive reality as a hologram, and even send our consciousness out on reconnaissance missions to other dimensions. It's
Yes.
a lot to take in.
It definitely is. And we haven't even touched on all the details
Right.
of the Gateway training program.
Right.
Is there anything else you think our listeners should know before we move on to
Yeah.
the next part of this deep dive? Well, I think it's important to emphasize that this document is just one perspective on the Gateway experience. There are other researchers and practitioners who have explored these concepts,
Yeah.
and their findings may differ
Yeah.
from what's presented in this CIA document.
Right. So this is just one piece of the puzzle.
Exactly.
And as we've said before, it's important to approach this information with a critical and discerning mind.
Absolutely. Don't just accept everything you read
Yeah.
at face value. Do your own research.
Yeah.
Explore a different perspective.
Yeah.
And form your own conclusions.
That's what the deep dive is all about. We're here to provide you with the information and the context, but it's up to you to decide what you make of it.
So, stay tuned for the next part of our deep dive into the Gateway experience, where we'll explore the potential applications of these techniques and what they might mean for our understanding of ourselves and the universe.
You know, it's funny. One of the things that keeps coming up in this document is this idea that our reality might be a lot more malleable than we think. Like, maybe we're not just stuck with the physical world as we perceive it.
It's the trip, right?
Yeah.
That's where this whole concept of the holographic universe gets really interesting. Remember, the document suggests that what we experience as physical reality might actually be a kind of projection, like a 3D image encoded on a 2D surface.
Okay, I'm trying to picture this. So it's like our brains are interpreting a holographic code,
Yeah.
and that's what creates our experience of the world around us.
That's the basic idea.
Yeah.
And the document suggests
Yeah.
that the Gateway experience could allow us to access the underlying code, the source of the holographic projection.
So we're not just seeing the finished product. We're seeing the blueprint, the raw data that makes up our reality.
Yeah, exactly. And that could have huge implications for our understanding of everything from physics to consciousness.
Yeah.
Imagine being able to see the underlying structure of reality, to understand how it all works at a fundamental level.
That's mind-boggling, but
Yeah.
is there any actual evidence to support this holographic universe idea, or is it just a theoretical concept?
Well, the document actually connects it to some pretty mainstream scientific theories.
Yeah.
They mention the work of physicists like Carl Pribram and David Bohm, who both propose theories
Yeah.
about the universe,
B.
a kind of giant hologram.
So it's not like the CIA was just making this stuff up. They were drawing on
Legitimate
right.
scientific research.
Yeah.
Right. And that's what makes this document so fascinating. It's attempting to bridge the gap between these seemingly far out ideas and more established scientific thought.
Okay, let's bring this back down to earth. For a minute, the document lays out a specific process for achieving these altered states of consciousness and potentially tapping into this holographic reality. What are some of the key techniques they recommend?
Well, as we discussed earlier, it starts with deep relaxation. They emphasize the importance of quieting the mind and body, creating a blank canvas for the experience to unfold. They recommend techniques like progressive muscle relaxation, deep breathing, and guided visualizations.
So it's kind of like setting the stage
Yeah.
for a more profound inner experience, calming the chatter of the mind so you can tune into something deeper.
Exactly. And then they introduce the hemisync audio tapes, which use specific sound frequencies to guide the brain into different brainwave patterns.
Right, the brainwave entrainment stuff. It's like using sound to gently nudge the brain
Precisely.
in the different state of consciousness.
Precisely. And they emphasize the importance of consistency and practice. It's not a quick fix. It's a gradual process of training the mind and body to access these altered states.
Once you've achieved a certain level of mastery,
Yeah.
you can start exploring more advanced techniques, like the ones designed to induce out-of-body experiences.
Right. The document describes a technique called Focus 15, which is specifically designed to facilitate OBEs.
Okay, and just to recap, what's the purpose of having an OBE, according to this document?
They refer to it as first-hand collection potential,
Yeah.
basically, they believe. You can use OBEs to gather information from other dimensions or time periods.
So, like, astral espionage, sending your consciousness out to gather intel.
That's one way to think about it.
Yeah.
And they suggest this information could be used for all sorts of purposes, like solving problems, conducting research, or even gathering intelligence.
Okay, I'm trying to keep an open mind, but that's where I really start to struggle. How can you be sure
So
that
the information you're receiving during an OBE is accurate? It seems like it would be.
Yeah.
Highly subjective and prone to all sorts of distortions.
That's a valid point. And the document acknowledges those challenges. They emphasize the importance of verifying information received during OBEs and comparing it to other sources. They also stress the need for accuracy, proper training and guidance to ensure that OBEs are conducted safely and effectively.
So it's not like you can just have an OBE and suddenly, it's that secret of the universe. No, it's presented as a more nuanced process.
Yeah.
Where information gathered during OBEs, carefully understood, within larger context. It's about expanding your awareness and exploring new possibilities, but not abandoning critical thinking or common sense.
That makes sense. So they're not claiming that OBEs are a foolproof method of gathering information, but they're suggesting that they could be a valuable tool for
exploration to discovery.
Exactly. And that's really the overarching theme of this whole document. It's about pushing the boundaries of human consciousness, exploring the potential of our minds and the nature of reality itself.
It's definitely a lot to think about. We've covered brainwave manipulation, energy fields, holographic universes, out-of-body experiences. It's been a wild ride.
It has been quite a journey, and I think
the most important takeaway for our listeners is this: don't be afraid to question your assumptions, to explore new ideas, and to consider possibilities that might seem strange or even impossible at first glance.
Right. Keep an open mind, but don't check your critical thinking skills. At the door, do your own research, explore different perspectives, and form your own conclusions. That's what the deep dive is all about.
That's right.
We're not here to give you all the answers. We're here to spark your curiosity and empower you to explore the mysteries of the universe for yourself.
And on that note, we'd like to thank you for joining us on this incredible journey into the world of the Gateway Experience. We hope it's left you with a sense of wonder and a desire to delve deeper into the mysteries of consciousness and reality.
It certainly has for me.
Until next time, keep exploring, keep questioning, and keep diving deep.